host Ashley McAdams, and you're watching Who Wants to Be an Expat. With me here today we have two contestants. Please welcome Stefan and Mathilde.
Let's get ready to rumble!
They are competing for an expat position in Beijing that is being offered by their company. We will be asking them important questions, and the contestant who answers the most correctly will win the expat position. Our experts, Claudia and Thomas, are watching from a different room. They will confirm and elaborate on the contestants' responses. Here are Claudia and Thomas.
Ciao, Ashley.
Let's begin then, shall we? My first question is to distinguish between gift giving and bribery.
Beep. Bribery is such a bad word. I think the answer is that there is no difference between gift giving and bribery. I think it's part of the game.
Beep, 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 beep. I think you are totally wrong. For me, giving gifts is a common practice in China, but it's not in Canada. It can be seen as a bribery.
So, Claudia, would you like to answer this question?
Oh, it's okay. You could answer it first.
Oh, I insist.
Alright, I'll do the honor then. Well, first of all, I totally agree with Mathilde's answer. Although some may say that you cannot do business in China without bribery, it is not recommended to do so. However, as a way of showing respect, giving gift is widely accepted in China. There are some must-knows about Chinese gift-giving etiquette. The gift should not be overly valuable. It is the best to give a gift to the entire company rather than to an individual. You also should specify that the gift is from your company, and the most acceptable gifts are souvenirs from your country. You may explain the meaning of the gift to the receiver. Some of the other acceptable gifts are cigarettes, fine liquor, and banquet. You should avoid giving clock as a gift because it has the same pronunciation as death, and giving clock represents bad luck. The gift should be wrapped in red, pink, or gold, rather than in green or white. You should also notice that the Chinese will decline your gift a few times before finally accepting it. Just like what Thomas and I did before answering the questions, the declining represents not being greedy and showing respect. You have to continue to insist. Once the gift is accepted, you should express your gratitude. You will be expected to do the same routine when you are offered a gift.
My next question is explain what face is in Chinese culture.
Beep, 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 beep. Face in China is Nyangzi, and it's more than just the face. It's also the display of dignity and self-respect when you are interacting with others. It's really critical when you are starting a business in China. You have to give face, to save face, and to show face.
What? I can understand you. I think the Chinese face is the same like the Western face. Mouth, eyes, nose.
Mathilde's answer was absolutely right. The concept of face is so important in the Chinese culture because the Chinese people are highly integrated with a wide range of people, including their schoolmates, co-workers, extended family, and other networks. It is hard for you to understand because people from Western countries do not have the same strong sense of integration with an extensive community. For example, you can gain face if you are praised by your boss or if you accomplish a difficult task at work. Questioning someone else's ideas or opinion in a public setting would cause that person to lose face. My advice to you is to behave politely, speak softly, and most of all, ask intelligent questions and then listen carefully on every public occasion.
The next question is to explain guanxi.
Beep. Well, that's an easy one. It's a Chinese noodle dish. I had it last week in a restaurant.
Maybe I think Stefan is totally wrong as usual. Guanxi is crucial when you are doing business in China. It's really you are exchanging favors and connections with your Chinese partners. For instance, when you are helping someone, then in exchange he will have to return a favor for you.
Well, guanxi is definitely not a noodle dish, and Mathilde was absolutely right again. There are a few tips that I would like to share with you. First of all, guanxi does not have to be based on money. Treating someone with decency and fairness would result in a good relationship. Second, guanxi starts with and builds on the trustworthiness of an individual or the company. If a company promised certain things and delivered as promised, the company is showing trustworthiness and the Chinese would be more included to deal with the company again. Third, being dependable and reliable definitely strengthens the relationship. Although guanxi does not usually based on friendship at the beginning, the parties may become good friends later because of this relationship.
My next question is what typically occurs in a formal meeting in Beijing?
Beep. Well, I would do it in the right way, in the Western way. So as soon as I enter the room, I'm introducing myself with the first name, and when there are disagreements in the discussion, I'm addressing them directly. And I would be really aggressive in defending my position and interrupt the other if it's necessary.
Beep, 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 beep. Okay. First, you have to be on time on the meeting. Secondly, they will welcome you outside to greet you, and you have to enter into the room by order of rank. After the handshake, they will just give you their business cards, and you will give them yours. And you have to take seats in order of ranks too. And at the opposite of Western style, like you said, you have to not interrupt the meetings, and even more, you don't have to challenge their thinking. Otherwise, it could have been seen like rude.
I agree with Mathilde. Stefan needs to do some more homework. There are several other things that expats should notice in a business meeting. First, you should avoid scheduling meetings during national holidays, such as Chinese New Year, the Labor Days, and the National Day. Second, make sure you know the language capabilities of your hosts before the meeting. It is more convenient and reliable for you to have your own translator. Third, remember seniority is valued in China. It is important to address your counterparts by their title, chairman, director, etc. Find out who the most senior person in the room is and address them first. During a handshake, ensure that you're not too aggressive with your handshake. Also, similar to introductions, hand out business cards to the most senior official first. Chinese use both hands when giving and receiving anything of value, including gifts, and particularly business cards. Take a moment to look at and acknowledge the individual's card. Have your own cards translated into Chinese on one side. As for the seating arrangements, the host will take the lead and you will likely have a name card or designated seat based on your role in the organization.
My last question is, what does "I will think about it" usually mean when negotiating with Chinese business people?
I would say probably that means no, because Chinese people are very indirect communication style.
I think you're totally wrong. It means that they are actually thinking about it. In this case, you have to negotiate further and be really persistent. It means that the business partner is almost convinced and you have to put the contract forward.
Well, I'm not sure if Stefan is ready to go to China, but Mathilde really knows Chinese culture. I'm glad you brought up the indirect communication style. The Chinese have a high context culture and indirect style of communication. A high context culture means that certain knowledge is already assumed during a conversation. The Chinese also make significant use of nonverbal means of communication, such as implied meanings, nonverbal cues, indirect statements, and symbolic language. For instance, a Chinese business person will rarely say no directly in a response to a situation. They will often say, "We will think about it," instead of that. Rather than valuing directness, the Chinese are more likely to be polite but vague. In addition, they are more comfortable with a considerable amount of silence. Although Chinese in general are considered indirect, the northern Chinese people are more straightforward than the people from southern China.
So I'd say it's pretty clear that Mathilde won the expat position.
Oh no.
Congratulations. Here's some Chinese money. But Stefan learned some valuable lessons, and it is clear that there are some major cultural differences between the West and China. It's important to always remember these cultural differences, as well as the importance of guanxi, manzi, and gift-giving in Chinese culture. Thank you for joining us today. We'll see you next time.